Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devki Paramananda Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, verse number 30. This chapter is known as Karma Yoga, yoga of action. Always remember, we have 4 yogas. Karma Yoga, yoga of action. Yoga relating to your feelings, called yoga of devotion, bhakti yoga. Yoga relating to the willing movement of the mind, dhyana yoga. Yoga of meditation. And yoga that relates to your intellect, reasoning, understanding, that's called jnana yoga. To figure out which yoga you want to practice. You can practice any one of the 4, but always understand that all the 4 are always together. Just like in your personality, you can highlight your hand. You can highlight your heart, highlight your neck, highlight your head. Whichever you may highlight, all the others follow it. So this, make it simple, this is called Sampurna Yoga or integral yoga. So with that broad understanding of integral yoga, focus your attention on karma, action. First, to understand what we mean by action. Whatever you do by your thoughts, that's the basis of your karma, action. Action has 3 forms: thought, word, deed. To a broader understanding, no one can live without karma even for a single second. Even when you say, I'm not going to do any work, that's the time you are doing more work than you ever imagined. Therefore, all these points have been made clear before. Now the question arises always before a person to understand the difference between Swadharma and Paradharma. Swadharma is that which is in harmony with your personality and with your spiritual evolution. And you are born with it. For example, led by your karmic process, you come into a family, you have father, mother. Once you look at your father and mother, now you don't have any choice. I should have another set of Swadharma starts. That doesn't mean that you disrespect other parents, but your practical life depends upon your parents. In the same way, you come with certain karmic tendencies, because your actions have not started just in this life. Karmas have gone on through many lives. 2 children in a family, have the same karma. Ask the mothers. One may have that inclination for arts, another may have inclination for mathematics, and one may be a genius, and etc. So similarly, every soul has come with Prarabdha karma. Karma in a broad sense is of three types. Sanchita karma, which means accumulated storehouse of karma. That Sanchita karma exists in your causal plane. It's an abstract. It's a very advanced technology. Karmas from millions of lives have accumulated, and they are all recorded there. But they don't impact on you at all. You don't know it. But out of all those Sanchita karmas, a portion, just a little pinch, has been the cause of your present embodiment. That pinch of karma that has created your present embodiment is called Prarabdha, fructifying karma. Fructifying karma determines, plans out three things: jati, ayu, bhoga. Jati means in what family will you be born? Your personality must match up with a family where there will be right type of influence. If you are a musician, you'll be drawn to a family, or even before you open your eyes, in other words, when you open your eyes, you see musical instruments around you, maybe a flute, maybe something else, piano or whatever. Even prior to that, even before you open your eyes, you are listening to the music. Father has been playing the piano or whatever. So the idea is that you are drawn to a family because of your prarabdha. Next point, what type of body will you have and how long will you live? That also is well planned in a divine way. That's called ayu, how long you are going to live. And bhoga. Bhoga means pleasure and pain, experiences of joy and sorrow, prosperity and adversity. And in every life you have experience of joy and sorrow. No one's life is just all happiness. Just like you experience day and night. It's not just perpetual day unless you are in North Pole. And you enjoy to have day and night. Similarly, joy and sorrow, bhoga. The quantity and the quality of those bhogas, they depend upon your karmas. While this has been already planned, sketched out, as you live your life, you improve upon the basic sketch. Just like a painter wants to bring out some piece of art. He himself doesn't know what it will look like in the end. So he starts putting some lines, outlines. Prarabdha is the outline, just a little sketch. Your effort, what you do now in this life, you are building upon the basis of that sketch. And you have the possibility to make the sketch turn into divine, no matter how it was in the basic stage, or make it demoniac. Your Purushartha, your self-effort, can bring out divine in you. You can blossom. Or you can stay thorny. The goal before you is, no matter whatever prarabdha you may have, allow your mind to become involved in satsanga. Be inspired to follow a spiritual path and develop a deep understanding that you can. You are not dependent on karmas. So don't go after asking astrologers what type of karma I had in the past. No matter whatever karmas, you have the possibility of turning those karmas. If suppose you have lot of adversity, try to bring a spirit of austerity while facing adversity. Count upon your faith, develop strength of faith, get involved with satsanga, etc. So ultimately your adversity that was based on a negative karma now has led you to develop spiritual association. It has led you to gain deeper insight into the goal of life. It has speeded your spiritual movement. So it doesn't matter whatever might have been the cause that created your negative karma. But you have the ability to turn into your favor. Likewise, suppose some good karmas of the past has brought you a lot of prosperity, unimaginable. You have not a single day of rest, you have always something drawing you to wonderful things. Come to waterfalls, come to the Himalayas, lots of invitations. I'm just making up this joke, but idea to understand that prosperity keeps your mind moving around, distract. Why? Because you did good karmas. You can utilize your prosperity and become more prosperous, more enriched in a spiritual way. And most people, during prosperity, they become vain. And after that good karma of the past is over, they find themselves tumbling into a lesser plane. So their good karma of the past has proven negative. All that again is allegorical, what I'm saying. I'm not condoning negative karma. But no matter whatever your karma might have been in the past, you are the architect of your destiny. That point is being hammered on you. And therefore, do not let your mind become just in a state of despair, but rather hold on to that inner inspiration that you have the potentiality to change your karma. And your goal is to attain self-realization. So while I was talking about Sanchita karma, accumulated storehouse, a pinch of it gave you Prarabdha. Prarabdha you modify, develop on that Prarabdha by your self-effort. The new karmas that are generated now on the basis of your prarabdha, they are called Kriyamana karma, current karma. Current karma goes in two directions. One aspect of current karma may join your prarabdha and bear fruit within this lifetime. Another aspect, certain karma you do and you don't get the result in this life. Why? Because there are many karmas lined up in queue. So every karma doesn't have the opportunity to get the result. Many of your good karmas line up. You did meditation today, a lot of japa. The result of that karma should give you happiness. It doesn't come today. It comes 5 days later. I'm trying to give in a simple way to understand that. So, Kriyamana karma is modifying, embellishing your prarabdha and creating a basis for future embodiment. But if you have started practicing karma yoga, now you are moving towards, karma yoga means by performing your actions, you are purifying your heart. Action, karma for chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. As heart is purified, devotion begins to develop. Your love is directed towards God, not towards your ego. Your ego becomes inferior. God becomes the highlight. Meditation begins to develop. And deep insight begins to develop, insight into who am I. All this implies that you are. Once karma has turned to karma yoga, you are moving towards enlightenment, liberation. If you attain liberation, liberation is attained during your lifetime. Your goal is not to keep it in future, but always the goal is to become enlightened. Becoming enlightened again has two implications. Suppose you are climbing a mountain. You have to go to the top. In the earliest state of your movement, your climbing process is defective. You climb and then you fall down. Go up and down, and sometimes you break your legs, so it takes time to again go on to climb. Next stage comes, you go on climbing. But there are downfalls. And when you get into the trap of downfall, it will delay you, etc. Third type, you have come to. You become so skilled that falling back is impossible. Moving up, that's the only one way left. The moment you have come to that state, you are called enlightened. No matter where you are. Because we have only one way to go. So you go on moving towards, like a river that has come close to the ocean and is up on a mountain looking down into the ocean. Nose is already moving towards. Now, no longer how long it may take for the river to enter the ocean. It has no other choice but to dissolve in the ocean. It is enlightened. Similarly, when you become enlightened, all karmas are burnt up. It's all Sanchita karmas that could have given you millions and trillions of embodiments. And still they will not be exhausted because you go on adding karma. But entire Sanchita karma storehouse burns up. Prarabdha, that pinch of Sanchita that has given you this present embodiment, that gets burnt up in a mystical way. If it got burnt up literally, your body will suddenly vanish the moment you attain liberation. People will be extremely afraid of all the ashrams. So we hear the news. They came to the ashram. They vanished. And the ashram newspaper says they all attained liberation. Liberation is not vanishing of the physical body. Liberation is even though you have the physical body, you have your personality, all your practical realities continue day by day. Inwardly, you are not the body. Your body has become your cell phone. You are not confined to the body. Just like a wave. Wave remains a wave. And yet it can have the attunement, I am the ocean. Once you have reached that, that's called liberation. All these scriptures, given by liberated sages. If they were liberated and vanished, there will be no scriptures. So with this, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashera nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvara. Having surrendered all actions to me, with your mind illumined by spiritual vision, you should fight without desire, free from the sense of mindness, and devoid of the fever of mental worries. No, this is highly condensed writing. Having surrendered all actions to me, how to attain enlightenment? Certain points have been already discussed before. Understand the importance of Swadharma, actions that have come to you by your very nature. If you are inclined to mathematics, get ahead. If you are inclined to artistic, painting, etc., or music, etc., then move ahead in that direction. That's I'm speaking broadly. From another point of view, no matter whatever type of duty you are doing, in divine plans, everyone is placed in certain situations, circumstances, whether you like it or not, you have to go do certain things, run certain chores of life. When you do that, don't do it with a sense of disgust, cursing yourself and your fate. But do it with the sense that it is a divinely planned situation. How fortunate am I? Because God is going to make me do it, even though I don't find all this strength behind. But God is there. With that faith and trust, and with this sense of respect towards whatever duty you do, not disgust. Just like whatever food you eat, if you eat it with disgust, it's going to create indigestion. If you face your karma with disgust, it's going to create negative situations. So that subtle point has to be understood. But now, raise the level of understanding. Doing your duties, a profounder purpose behind it is to develop that understanding that God is working through me. Who am I? It's not ego that accomplishes anything. Even just digesting food, ego can't do it. So therefore, having surrendered all actions to me, that the profound goal has to be in view. Go on building up that sense that God is working through me. I am an instrument in divine hand. And every action I am doing is a form of worship of God. It is to please God, you are doing the action. Not to please the ego. Ego is a monkey. When it is pleased, the monkey that rides on your neck. When it is pleased, it chokes your neck. When displeased, it chokes it also. Both ways. Because both of his legs are on your neck. So having surrendered, so actions to be done with a spirit of surrender to God. That's a broad understanding of Karma Yoga. With your mind illumined by spiritual vision, Adhyatma Chetasa. Another term is used, Viveka Buddhi. Whatever work you do it with Viveka Buddhi, with a discriminative, with a mind that knows the difference between right and wrong, between good and just that which seems pleasant but not good, between Shreya and Preya. Shreya, that which uplifts you, Preya, that remains pleasant but degrades you. The mind that knows that type of difference. That type of mind you must develop while you are doing your duties. And you develop it if you are practicing daily sadhana like japa, meditation, satsanga. As you go on doing that, automatically your movement in daily life, your conduct in daily life is guided by discerning intellect. No matter what situation you are, you will not outstep the limits of righteousness. In other words, no matter whatever situation you are, you will not do something for which you may have to regret. This is again an ideal. Ideal means you go on failing, you go on making mistakes, but don't pat on your back how wonderful you are. Always understand mistakes are mistakes and not to regret about the mistakes too much. Only you should move ahead. So many mistakes you have overcome, and this you are going to overcome. That's called Adhyatma Chetasa, that's the first point. Using Viveka Buddhi in your life so that you recognize what error did you commit, which you should not commit again, what lessons have you learned, which you should use. And therefore, day by day, you are learning, improving, moving towards God. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. And all actions to be offered to God. That point I have already explained. Third point, nirashir. Nirashir means without expectations. In common parlance, when the people talk together, the word nirasha is pathetic word. Asha, expectation. Nirasha, being expectationless. It brings sadness in the heart. Now nirash bato. Now become nirash. But your goal is to become nirash. All ashas, all expectations must move away. Because as long as there are expectations, that means you are not perfect. A river flows on, there is expectation. Enters the ocean, full. All that you expect in the past, present and future, all is fulfilled. Then you are nirasha. Devoid of all expectations and desires. That should be your goal. Nirmama, the sense of me and mine. Therefore, mantras always have that nama. The subtle implication is nothing, neither me nor mine. Yudvasva. And you should fight. People understand the term. Estoy luchando. You will ask, poor person, how is life? And the Spanish language says, estoy luchando. The term fight, it doesn't mean real fight. The entire story of the Gita and Mahabharata, a big battle, is an allegorical presentation of life moving towards God realization. Fight is between the higher forces of light and forces of darkness. Anger, greed, hate, they come with horns and awkward bodies, twisted eyes, etc. Compassion, understanding, humility, they come with divine appearance, divine garbs, and they go and fight. So allow that fight to go on day by day. Then your life is wonderful. Then you are living. Oh, Arjuna, fight. Krishna goes on telling every now and then. Vigat jwara. Fight, but not with fever. Fever of the body or fever of the mind. Not with mental stress. The term, Sanskrit terms are shoka and moha. Not with grief. or delusion. Then your fight will be a movement of spiritual progress. It will be a form of festivity. It will not be degrading, humiliating. You will not be defeated. It's a fight that is actually a celebration of your coming victory. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhavanto na suyanto muchyante tepi karmabhi. Those who are endowed with faith and are free from the vice of finding fault with my teachings, they too attain freedom from all actions by following the path revealed by me. Now, 2 points are there. People listen to certain teachings. Intellectually they grasp, they can repeat the teachings. But in practice they won't do it. Then there are others, they may not repeat all that. But their heart has felt the joy of listening, and faith has entered. So therefore, a person of faith may not have listened all, but whatever the person of faith listens to is effective. It's going to be digested. It will bring you spiritual nourishment. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you have not understood all these teachings, or you don't possess the knowledge that the intellectuals possess. Don't compare with them. Move by faith. Faith gives you a greater guarantee for your spiritual movement than your rational, intellectual understanding. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have understanding. But you have to understand the difference between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. There is saying, an ounce of practice is better than tons of theory. When you have faith in what you have heard, that allows you to practice. You may be practicing only an ounce. Another person has accumulated tons of theory, but there isn't an ounce of practice. Who is better? The one who has faith-based movement. That's what Krishna is saying. Those who are endowed with faith and free from the vice of finding fault with my teachings. You may not have all the teaching, but don't find fault with it. Another point, the vice of finding fault. That vice is called asuya. And having mentioned one vice, you are actually called upalakshana. It's pointing out the group of vices, all that is called mala, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All that is implied. If you have the malas, gross impurities, faith within you cannot be active. So your faith must have a fashion, must be equipped with these gunas, these divine qualities, qualities of absence of anger, humility, gentleness, sincerity, all good virtues. Ye tvedabhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudhanstan viddhi nashtana chetasa. But those who do not follow my teachings and are afflicted with the vice of finding fault, know them to be dull-witted and deluded in every form of knowledge. They are heading towards their own destruction. Those who do not follow my teachings. What is my teachings? Perform all actions with the spirit of surrender to God. That's the central essence of the teachings. And another point, do all your duties with Shraddha Vritti. Your heart must have faith that you are worshipping God through your duties. And God is going to respond to you. Because your relationship with God is like a child's relationship with a mother. And a child has tremendous faith. You may figure that out. So that type of relationship must develop. Shraddha Vritti and Asuya Vritti. Asuya, mind that develops always a sense of contradiction, a sense of jealousy, sense of opposition. Instead of that, develop Shraddha Vritti, mind that trusts, faith. Asuya Vritti is characterized by Irshya. Irshya is called jealousy. Matsara. Matsar term is not only you are jealous, but your mind is buzzing with lots of defects in people. Like so many mosquitoes buzz over you. And you don't find rest. You go to a wonderful, picturesque setting of nature, wonderful lake. Everywhere is something so delightful. But suddenly a swarm of mosquitoes, very small little. They're called machar. In Hindi language, machar term is used. That machar comes from the Sanskrit word matsar. Certain negative way of thinking that goes on buzzing over you in such a way, all the beauty and glory and grace of God goes away. Shraddha Vritti goes on removing these obstructions, and the world becomes joyous for you. People are wonderful. The world is joyous. The breeze blows with divine grace. Sun shines with joy. The ocean surges with joy. And all is beckoning your soul to its highest attainment. They are all welcoming you. They live for you. They are working for you. They exist for you. But if that is Shraddha Vritti, then you are moving that way. For Asuya Vritti, Malin Vritti, then your thoughts are constantly creating perverted desires, anger, kama, krodha, lobha, greed, moha, delusion, man, pride, matsarya, this mosquito type of jealousy. So if you have that Shraddha vritti, and you are moving away from this Matsarya, you are going to attain the goal. But those who don't have it, they are heading towards their own destruction. What do we mean by destruction? The term destruction is used in a figurative way. Soul cannot be destroyed. That's figurative way it is used, that your self-effort becomes as if dead. If you are not aware of your self-effort, you are unable to exercise your self-effort, then you are living in vain. You will again come back to it, but nature will have to take a lot of time to bring you back into that situation. You go through many lives. Condition. Attachment doesn't mean you are hogging the object. It means your mind is hugging the object. It's a mental phenomenon. Sangha. Sangat sanjayate kama. If attachment has developed in your mind, now the mind is restless unless it gets the object. And it is an impossible task. Object is not a reality from an advanced point of view. An object has not been the source of your happiness. So it's a wrong pursuit. But nevertheless, follow the story. This mental dependence, mental attachment causes desires. Mind is restless, so it has to have so many desires to fulfill it, to cure the restlessness. But running after desires and fulfilling them doesn't really cure. It enhances the restlessness. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho bijayate. While you are trying to fulfill your desires, two possibilities are there. Things oppose the fulfillment. Then you become angry, agitated. And another, your desires are fulfilled. Sometimes manyfold. You want a desire just for a pinch. The whole bag full comes to you. That creates agitation. When desire is not fulfilled, it creates agitation. When it is fulfilled, it creates agitation. The term krodha has been used there with that understanding. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. When your mind is agitated, your intellect is like the flashlight. But if your sleeve is constantly agitated over your flashlight, you can't handle it, can't really use it. That's called sammoha. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. You are unable to see things in a healthy manner. Sammohat smriti vransha. Let's see how situation. Let me repeat that. Dhyayato pushi. Vishayan punsa. Sangasteshu pajayate. You go on repeating the object in your mind, you become attached. Sangat sanjayate kama. Attachment brings desire. Kamat krodho vijayate. From kama comes anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Because of anger, you get this delusion. Sammohat smriti vransha. When you have some moha, then your memory of what is right, what is wrong has gone away. You don't even know what you are really looking for. Smriti vranshat buddhi nasho. When that state has reached, then in spite of the flashlight in your hand, flashlight as if doesn't work. So you're not guided by it. You're guided by the illusions of your mind. In other words, you are unable to develop viveka buddhi, a healthy intellect that sees the difference between right and wrong, recognizes the right course. Once that has happened, you are being led to destruction. Figuratively. That means all progress depends upon a healthy intellect. But all this sequence has led the intellect to become as if dead. You allow the intellect to be dead, then you are going to be destroyed. Figurative language. Live in such a way that this series of mistakes don't take place. And with this, conclude.